Okay. Hi, everybody. How are you?
Hi. Great.
Good. Hi, Michelle. Good to see you too. Okay. So here we are. Are we all making progress?
Yes.
Depends on how you define progress.
Are we making money?
Sometimes.
Okay. Well, I think we should all make a little bit more of it. Good. Okay. So how about if we start right off the gate with a couple of questions? Who's got a great question to bring up to this group?
Okay, let me think.
Well, I'm willing to ask a question.
Okay.
So I've created this, I guess you would call it a continuity program. It's a program like after my hips, 10-week online course. I didn't want to do like a big, huge mastermind. And so I created this year-long thing called the Freedom Club. You can join it for a year, or you can join it for $97 a month. And so I created a sales page and I put a sales page video on it, but I've only been promoting it via email. And so a bunch of people signed up from HIPS. I've had a couple of different freebies that I've offered with a countdown timer on both of them. And so everybody in HIPS who joined it, close to the end of the countdown timer. But I have a sense that in order to really sell more of it, I'm going to need to do a webinar or two or something like that. And I'm kind of resistant to doing that. But I could be wrong. There could be other reasons why people aren't jumping into it. There could be a lot of reasons.
So is this only for people who've taken HIPS?
No, at first I was going to make it only for people who'd taken HIPS. But then when I created the curriculum for the year, I realized this doesn't need to be people that know what a high impact program is and has one. It really doesn't at all. And I could also, if I want to, at some point in time, I could create a little, even a 45-minute training or a half-hour training, just quickly kind of go over the key points.
Okay.
So it's for anybody who, any coach, therapist, that kind of person.
Okay, so my question is for you what's your question?
Well, I guess the question is, what's the minimal amount of effort that I have to put out to attract 20 more people to it?
Everybody? You're all into minimum amounts of effort. We all are.
Okay, wait a second.
We can hear you.
Am I unmuted?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. One of the things, Natalie, I think it's a really great idea. I myself was actually am interested, and yet I'm wondering if it's just a little bit too leveraged.
Like too cheap? Is that what you mean by leveraged?
Leveraged meaning I'm wondering if the advantage for you in terms of time invested balances out with what people perceive they're going to be receiving.
Can you perhaps put that in a little more plain English?
That's about plain English. Like when I look at the individual elements, do I really need 4 challenges a year? I mean, I'm just going to, when people look at that, people who feel like, wow, I really need somebody motivating me and challenges do it, that might be there. But that's, those might take time for you, but some of the other things might be that they don't require a lot of time for you, which is a good thing. You want to have that in a program that you develop. You want to leverage with your time. But at the same time, does the participant coming in at those 3 different levels of programs, are they perceiving that they're getting enough? Because I would think, especially if you open it up, that there'd be a lot of people that would love that affordable of a program from you. But then the question is, when they look at it, are they getting enough of what they think is valuable? I don't know if that's clear enough for you, but.
So you're suggesting that what I'm offering in the program might not be the things that people actually think they need.
Yeah, it might not feel as valuable to them enough to jump in. And I know at the same time, you in this kind of a program don't want to give a lot of your time. You want to give valuable time, and whatever you give will be valuable. But I always wondered whether the balance was right.
So what would you suggest, like what would be of value?
I don't know. You might need to ask people again who have finished, for example, HIPS, the people who have, because I know that's what went around in my own head again and again and again until I finally decided, okay. But then, that, is still in process. But, but that might be something to ask the people, to say, if you were going to have continuation, what would be really useful for you? Because it feels like a really good idea. Good enough that I was going, wow, I should do that with my groups, with, some of my people, So I like the idea genuinely, but I'm not sure the value. You might want to check in to see is what would be valuable for people if they were going to do something like that. Because for $9.97, your lowest program, for somebody to get a year of touch-in support with you, like who wouldn't jump at that, if it was something people felt they wanted. So that's just my thought in terms of your question.
All right, so you're thinking that it's not necessarily about the way I'm marketing it, it's about the way I've actually structured it, what I'm offering.
I'm saying that you might want to explore that. That's your marketing looks okay. But, that would be the next place to explore if people aren't jumping on it.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Okay, who else?
Michelle's got an inside perspective because she witnessed the marketing and she participated in a lot of HIPs, so, she knew about it.
Because people in HIPs that I experienced love you and find you valuable. So it's not like, wow, that was a bad choice, But, but I think checking in with them specifically might give you some information. I don't know. Because the format, the marketing looks like there's some value there. It's just, how is it perceived by the people who are going to be the buyer?
Right. It's so interesting because, for all of us, we're the experts that know best what it is that they need. But of course, the marketing has to be perceived by the buyer as this is what I want and this is what I need.
So I think it would be helpful for us to get really precise in the language here. I think what I just heard Michelle said is perhaps your offer isn't right. So there's a difference between marketing and your offer.
Okay.
Best marketing on the wrong offer isn't going to do well, and a good offer, not well marketed, isn't going to do well. You got to do both well.
Right.
And over the years, I've had, as I'm sitting here, I'm thinking of 3 separate phone calls between Jeff Walker and I on offer. It's like, okay, this isn't working as well as it should be. What have I got to do to fix this? Because my cart's only open for 3 more days. And the first thing that he always comes back to is, what's your offer? He doesn't even ask, what are you doing in the marketing? Do you have a webinar plan? How big is your list? How many JV partners have you got? Everything. The first question he goes to is, what's your offer? And the core question is what you're offering something that when the people hear it, they go, it's a steal at this price. Mm-hmm. And the core thing is that each time he's asked me that question, I say, this is an amazing value at this price. And he says, Don, it doesn't matter what you think. Because what we tend to do as the person making the offer is that we bring in all the other pieces. How much of my time is it going to take? How much of my information, you know, that was my next product that you're wanting me to put in as a bonus on this offer. You know, all those pieces we've got in our mind. But the important part is not what we think about our offer, it's what the potential customer thinks about our offer. And if it's not just drop dead obvious they've got to get into this, then you usually can do better in your offer.
Yeah.
And at this point, I always go back to the Paul Myers comment. You know, it's never a pricing problem; it's always a marketing problem. And so, in this case, it's an offer problem. In other words, it's not that your price isn't right; it's that it could be that the way you get these additional 20 people in is to sweeten your offer.
Okay. So the interesting thing is, I have a feeling you might agree with me on what the problem is. The problem that I perceive is that everybody just keeps learning stuff, but hardly anybody actually implements things and gets it out there into the world. And so this program is designed to, it's like a get it done program. You know, Don always ends his trainings of just go out there, just go do this stuff. And so that's exactly what this program is. But it could be that people don't perceive that that's their problem. I mean, and if I tell them that that's their problem, it might actually scare them because they're going to think, oh, if I join this program, I'm actually going to have to do something. And that's scary for most people who don't do anything.
Yep. So what's your question?
So, like you said, maybe I'm just making the wrong offer. And I do need to talk to people to find out what is it that they want so I can offer something that they want. I mean, I can keep the program what it is. It's just the offer that needs to change.
Right. So we have a thing that we've somehow gotten into in this online marketing world where we think that the solution when you don't know if your offer is right is to ask your customer what they want.
Mm.
I will tell you, most cases, they cannot tell you what they want.
Right. They want faster.
They don't even know what they want.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
What they can do is they can react to what they hear and say, now you're there. Okay. And
Yeah.
so my inclination is not to get on the phone with a bunch of people and say, what do you want? It's to sit down and say, okay, what do I think they want? Ignore your cap, what it'll cost you to deliver it.
Right.
What do they want?
Right.
And come up with some options there, and then say, okay, what are the sweetest parts of that offer? Okay, so going back to webinar funnel formula, the thing that, so when Jeff and I sat down and designed, I had designed an offer. He hadn't even seen my offer yet. And he said to me, okay, so what is the number one thing that everyone wants when it has to do with a webinar? And I said, they want us to write it for them, deliver it for them, and just give them the sales. And he says, I agree with that. Okay. If they can't get that, now what do they want? And I said, ultimately, I think they want feedback on every key element of their webinar. So that if we're not going to do it for them, they want feedback that gives them everything so they'll be able to do it well. He says, I agree. How can we give them that?
Okay.
That became the essence of the webinar funnel formula offer, is we're going to give you feedback on every single element of the program.
Are you going to keep doing that, by the way? Next year and next year?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It sure is costly. Man, it kills me every time. because it takes me 2 days to go through and give everybody feedback. It's hard.
I know, yeah. Because you give quality feedback. It's not just a slapdash thing.
Yep. So, so if we were to ask that same question in regards to what you're talking about, what are the things that they most want?
Yeah.
So in your case, to create the program for me, do all the marketing and do that. Okay, if you can't have that, now what do they want?
Well, I gave feedback. I gave a prize of that kind of feedback, where I'd make a video review of their high impact program. I gave that as one of the break week prizes for everybody who either had a certain number of points or jumped a certain number of points. And people loved that. They gave me, I got some of my best testimonials from just doing like a 5-minute video on their thing. But people who haven't ever had that, I don't know that they know the value of it, because the program isn't as specific as webinar funnel formula, where there's one thing that everybody's going toward. But
yep.
I don't want to take up the whole time. You guys have been great. This is really helpful.
Let me just come back to that for just a minute.
Yeah.
Camille just wrote, you gave me that idea to give feedback on our program, and I think it's what's missing. They want feedback on their resume.
Right.
So what if you were to say, we're going to do 12 assignments during the year, and I will give you a personal one-on-one video giving you feedback on your assignment. And the question is, if you had 30 students in this, of those 30, the first couple of months, 20 will do the assignment. And after about month 3, 10 are doing the assignment. And it's costing you, because now, when I said it takes me a couple of days, that was the first couple of weeks doing this. Now it's down to, it's a couple of hours.
Right.
Would you be willing to spend 2 to 3 hours a month to give individual feedback to this group of people for $3,000 a month?
Yeah, I would, because I would, because it's partly because that's what's going to move the needle for them. Because if they do the assignment, and then furthermore, if they take the assignment and do it into the challenge, because the 4 challenges all relate to the stuff that we'll do, it's gonna make a massive difference in their business, and that's what brings me my fulfillment.
Right. So why don't you add something like that?
Okay, it's interesting because I had put that at the private level, and I'll just put it for the whole program. I'll just change it. Yeah, that's great.
And I'm not recommending, I'm not saying that's the solution to your problem, but I think it would be a solution to your problem. I think it'd be very, very interesting. So, so Maurice's model, 1-to-1, 1-to-few, 1-to-many. So there's stuff you can't do at 1-to-many, though we're doing it in a webinar funnel formula.
Right.
But you certainly can do it at 1-to-few. And that's what this program is.
Oh, right.
And so let's not try to force a 1-to-few program into 1-to-many criteria, and just say, would it be worth it me 3 hours a month to do this feedback for $3,000 a month? Yeah, that's $100 an hour. Okay, I can handle that.
Right.
And now you've got yourself elements of the offer, and there probably will be other things that you do that could be added into this.
Right. Well, it's cool because on a thing like this, like one of the reasons I like it is because I'm going to offer this again after at the end of the online course creation system program. Like every time I finish a course, I'll offer it. There'll be new people that will want to jump into it, and so I like that because I get to improve my offer each time. I get to improve the offer and improve the program. So this is cool. I hope this has benefited you guys too. This has been really valuable to me.
Yep, and Camille wrote something else too. Remember in webinar funnel formula, and I hate to keep going back to that, it's just what I'm living right now, that we're doing some of that feedback on a call. So the hour-and-a-half call each week, we're getting through 10 to 15 of them, and we don't have to do them individually after that, and everyone gets value out of what they hear from the feedback for that group too. So, you know, you have a monthly call that's your feedback call.
Right.
And then anybody we don't get to in that, I'll give you a private video giving you feedback from there.
Right. Because it's easier to do it on the call because you've got the momentum of the people and the time and everything like that. I could exactly do that. It would be easier for me than to do them all individually.
Yeah.
It's a great idea.
Yep. But I will tell you the system that I struggled with right at first, but I finally got it down. Just doing it via video, doing it via, what is that system called? It's called Screencast-O-Matic.
Is that a paid thing?
You can there's a free account and then there's a paid account. I think it was $49 for the year.
Oh, wow. Because because a bunch of other people have done feedback, because I've watched most of the feedback that you guys have given, and the system you're using is the simplest and best.
Yeah, I actually learned this from Molly Pittman. So Molly Pittman, Facebook advertising fame. She worked with Ryan Dice as his Facebook advertiser. She did a program that I paid for that where she literally gave feedback on your Facebook ads every single week, and you sent your homework in and she gave you feedback, and this is the way she did it. Started on a call, then anybody else after that. She actually did a group thing, so should do a batch of them and do a recording for these 10 people and send it out to the Facebook group. But I think it's a good idea, and I think more people should be doing this than currently are. And it's not nearly as difficult as I thought it would be.
What was the platform?
Michelle, I'm gonna mute you.
Screencast.
Michelle, can you mute yourself?
Oh, wait.
Don, I have a question, if you guys can hear me.
Hi, Dee. How are you?
Hi. I'm good. I'm mobile challenged.
Okay.
So I won't, I got, my front yard is being dug up right now. So you said you use Screencast-O-Matic, which I have that software program, and we use it a lot to do some training videos. So you use that to provide feedback. Did you also use it to record your modules?
No, I record my modules on Camtasia. The reason why I'm using that is because it has the ability to, it automatically uploads it, gives you a URL that you can give to them to be able to watch it. So it saves me the time of having to upload something, figure out what that URL is, do all that kind of stuff.
Okay. I got some background noise, I'm sorry, but I did hear what you were saying.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, good. Any other questions while you're on here?
No, not that. I probably need about 5 or 10 minutes, and I just picked up some passengers in my car.
Okay.
So
all right, we'll give you a break.
Come back on.
Okay. Sounds good. Who else has a question? This is the time when you got this group together. Don't waste it. Okay, we got some serious thinking going on in Camille's land. Michelle.
Okay. I wanted to ask a question. I asked a question this week or last week, whenever in the coach-a-thon with Marisa, and first I clarified. She said, you know, for my entry-level weekends, I don't need to feel like I'm aiming for that population the same as for the people for my highest end product. So that was liberating. Okay. So when I said, but it seems like there should be some connection. And you said that you saw me in those higher ends programs looking mostly towards entrepreneurs more than corporate. And it could be a little bit wider than that too. So my question was specifically for the Coach-a-thon, I don't usually promote amongst my peers in the programs I'm in where I am around a lot of entrepreneurs. Maurice's is the only program I've ever been in that opens the way for that. I respond if asked, but I don't. So I said, how would I get to big bodies of entrepreneurs? And one of the things she suggested was reaching out to coaches who work with business clients and basically offering to them my weekends free that they can give to their clients who, if they came in, I would have basically a event at a loss in these weekends, but that it would expose me to people who then would be potential for going into, say, for example, my affordable groups. And I'm curious, I just wanted to think through the finances of that a little bit more. And would I do an entire event with free entries like that? Would it be wise to just do a percentage of people who would be able to come for free from some other entrepreneurs tribe? Could you help me think that through something like that a little bit more as an outreach, or would you agree that that was a wise approach? I'm not asking you to disagree with Marisa, but would you have anything else to add to that? Because I've been trying to operationalize it.
Okay. All right. What do you guys think?
Michelle, do you like the idea? Oh, go ahead, Tammy. You go.
Does it make sense to give it away? Like, it doesn't, free doesn't seem like a smart choice there, but giving people a group rate so that, a group rate to send a group of people rather than charging individuals might be another way to look at it. Just a suggestion.
Michelle, you're muted.
If I used this group sitting in this room right now together, us, I don't think if Marisa offered us a free offering somewhere on mixed dates around the country, live event, I don't think a group of us would coordinate enough to get it together that anybody would show up likely, So I think that if it was an online event, that would be something really good I could consider. But for a live event in different locations nationwide, I like the idea for online, but I can't imagine a group of people coordinating to come free together.
The online world is where my head sits, so that's what I was thinking, but yeah.
So
the program.
From a point of view of somebody, let's say I was doing a launch and you came to me and you said, hey, Don, how'd you like to offer this as a bonus to your people that they can come to my conference for free? That's basically what we're saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think if it was paid, you won't have anybody saying, oh yeah, would do that. I think you're going to need to have it be free so that the partners that are going to promote it for you will promote it, right? Put it in as a bonus for their product. The two things that that run through my mind in regards to this are, number one, you've got to have a clear message, a clear deliverable for this program that they're getting out of it. Okay? Because very honestly, Michelle, even though I've worked with you for a number of months, I still am not 100% sure what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And it would help me to be able to have that really clear. Well, first off, just so that I know, but secondly, just, one of the things that we've struggled with Message to Money Live is, what is that claim? Okay. So I've been involved with it for 3 years now. 3 years, 2 years, I can't remember. 3, going on 3, where we've struggled with the message every time. You know, what is it that you're going to get out of this? When people come, once we get them in the room, they get good stuff and they love it, right?
Mm-hmm.
The problem is getting them to agree to come to it, because all the things around it, all the deliverables are things that they don't necessarily think that they want. So back to the discussion we had with Natalie, the offer is weird because what we really are going to deliver them is not something that they believe that they want until they get in the room, and then they go, I so need this, right? And so you would need to have a very clear statement of what it is your program delivers.
Mm-hmm.
The other piece that I would do for this is, so you got 2 options. One is to do the conference just for Tom Jones. You did it with Tom Jones. He put 200 people into it, okay? What I would do is I would tell those people it's $97 deposit that it'll get returned at the door. Okay, so that gives you some upfront money to be able to book the whole, ensure people are coming, book food, that kind of thing that you've got to do. Then, and some of those, 20% of those, 30% of those are not going to show, and you get to keep that $97 a person for them. But that's nowhere close. The real money is the people in the room. You want that room full. And so the next piece I would do is just look at the model that we do with Message to Money Live. The next thing we do is we do bring a friend programs, where you can bring a friend for a discounted price. So this is a $1,000 program. You've got a free ticket. You can bring a friend for $197. And we actually put contests around that bring a friend program, where we're incentivizing people to be the one who brings the most friends, and everyone who brings at least 2 friends gets the t-shirt and gets to come to an early morning meeting. You know, you make this bring a friend valuable enough that everyone wants to play. And so that gets people, paid people, into the conference and increases the number of people that you're going to sell your back-end program to. But then the third thing I would do is I would somewhat consider having this be a program that you're already going to be doing, that you're putting paid people into, that they're just putting more seats in the room for this other group. Okay, so Michelle is having a program on November 7th in San Diego, and Tom Jones's audience can come to that for free. So you've already got some paid people already coming from your program, and you're just putting more seats in the room and coffee in the lobby and everything. So it's not free by any means, but it's
well, it's free for the people who are free. It's just that it's not no profit for me. You know, it's like that's actually, I've done that. That's actually the issue that makes my event different is that this is not. These are limited enrollment, 15, 18 max. And so I've done that when I do offer in a weekend. Those people take paid seats. That's, if you want to use the word lost income, but it's there side by side with people who would normally be coming. And those people have priority if they sign up and they pay a deposit, so there isn't then a no-show. I don't have no-shows for the events. But in offering it, I guess I just want, so you're saying, yes, it would be wise, whether, no matter how I do it, to offer it at no cost. That's the only way people would promote it to people. That makes sense. So I'm hearing a yes for that. And would it be worthwhile if these aren't in addition? They're not like I'm going to have, the events usually fill. So I have a certain amount, and it's a low-cost event. Would it still make sense if some of these are not going to be there and these free people are coming in? It would just decrease my loss? Because Marisa was assuming it would be a no, as it is, it's a no income, it's not a profit-making event. Would it still be worth doing?
Well, you got a couple of options. You could put another, how many days is this event?
It's 2.5, Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday.
Okay. So sometimes we do that by doing a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you know, and put in another event. Or, I mean, right now you're bringing in 30 people to this event. Would it kill the event if there were 50 there?
I'm not sure if it would kill the event. It would stretch, for the type of work going on, it would stretch me a bit. It's not that I couldn't, but I would have to adjust it, and I could do that. But
Right.
When you say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you're saying do something back to back, so there's 2 events?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, that's.
So I'm doing a conference where in the past this was a conference of 30 people in a table in a U-shaped table, okay? And we had an offer. Long story short, we ended up deciding to do 50 in the room, okay? We realized that'll change the dynamic in the room. So what we did is I brought in another coach. So the part that capped it at 30 for me was that I wanted to be able to give one-on-one feedback during certain parts of it. They go off and they work on an exercise together, and I wanted to be able to give one-on-one feedback during that period of time. And so what I did is I brought in another coach to be able to walk the room and give that one-on-one feedback. So it's not just me walking, it's somebody else, doubling the number of people who get that one-on-one feedback. And then I just had to be very, very careful to make it so that we made sure that everybody got a chance to get their time with the room. You know, so as we do an exercise and we invite people to present, they'll always be, so Natalie is a great example. Natalie will always jump in because Natalie's always got a question. She'll always jump in, and that's great. So if there's a silent moment, Natalie's going to jump in and ask a question, and I really appreciate that. The challenge is if Natalie jumps in and we have 6 exercises during the day and she jumps in on every one of them, then that might mean somebody else doesn't get a chance to come into that spot. And so then you end up starting to do things like, okay, we're going to work with people other than the people who always jump in and just make sure everybody gets a chance to do it. Natalie, I hope that's okay, the way I described it. So going back to, I'll go back to webinar funnel formula. I actually, after the second call, I had somebody griping that the same people get answered on every call. And so what I actually did is I put together a spreadsheet of everybody who had gotten feedback on the live calls. And so what we do is anybody who's new, they go to the top and they get their feedback first in the next call. And the people who've already gotten feedback drop down below. And so that we're always giving fresh people, so everybody gets a chance to get the feedback live from more than one coach in the live session, things like that. So it becomes more of a management issue to do it. And we actually didn't do it at this particular conference, but the next one, we're talking about breaking into a second room for those exercises. So that we'll actually have 2 separate rooms to do the exercise and then do the debrief from that exercise, come back again into the big room. So that everybody gets equal chance to, and we'll change back and forth which one of us moderates which one of those 2 rooms. So just sometimes we set artificial limits on ourselves that can hurt you. That was a long ramble. Sorry about that.
And
okay.
So the artificial piece you're advising me to watch for is
that you don't have this, that you don't set yourself a limit, an artificial limit. I can only put 30 people in the room. You can oftentimes fit more. Okay, and here's one other piece. I'm doing this also in another situation where I've got, essentially it's a 2-day conference, but for an upsell, we're giving an extra day before the 2-day conference for an additional $1,000. So you could take this group of people who are getting in for free and offer them a half day or a day before for some extra money that could make it be a break-even event.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And I always find that it's better to do it before than after. I've participated in it both directions, and after, the advantage of after is they've got the foundation to be able to walk into the after, but just as you found when you were going in to do your one-on-one with Marisa, you're tired. You know, you gotten full of information, and now it's like, will I be able to absorb properly on the next day? So I find it's best to do it before.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Michelle,
Mm-hmm.
do you like the idea of doing a presentation at somebody else's event?
Oh,
And
absolutely.
because-
Absolutely.
Because I think that would be a really easy way for you. You know, you're speaking in front of an audience of 100 to 500 people, and you're going to be great, and they're all going to want whatever it is that you offer from that, whether it's your 3-day or you know, it's going to be a lower cost offer from the stage, but.
And are you suggesting if I was offering this, as Marisa said, just offer the weekends and because it's such a way for people to know what I'm doing. Are you saying to do that offered as a free event or as a because Don said that people would only offer that or support that their tribe if I was offering it free?
See, there's two different things. Like I've been to events where like somebody has passed out a form and we could get, say, Jesse and Charla's 3-day event for free or for a $97 seat deposit. That's something where, you know, Marisa just has to describe it, make the offer, they pass out the forms, she's done. The other thing, though, is where she actually gives you an hour or whatever, and you do a thing with the people. So Don's had so much more experience with all this stuff than me, but in my experience, that's a paid thing. When they do that, you usually buy something. You know, you pay $500 or $2,000 or whatever for whatever the program is.
Lisa Sasovich event, that's a $20,000.
So she does that. She has somebody for an hour who offers a $20,000 offer? Or
no,
you mean
she charges you a $20,000 to get that hour in front of her audience.
Oh, she charges you $20,000 to get that, right. Well, and then the other option is like, you know, they have somebody like Bill Barron, you know, like I was at an event where Bill Barron came and he spent an hour and then he offered his whatever, you know, one of his courses. And so it was a $2,000 thing, and he probably gave what's her name? You guys know her, but I can't think of her name right now. And he gave her like $1,000 off of each person. So 50%, I'm guessing. I don't know. You know, I didn't see the deal, but Helen.
Yeah. Okay, great. Because like I say, as I'm doing the events, Phil, but I kind of like to just be able to reach out and kind of shape the people, you know, shape the profile of the group that comes. All these ideas are really helpful, so thank you. I'm going to have to really play around with a lot of them, so thank you so much.
Okay.
And I'm wondering if your events could get bigger, because right now, you know, you kind of reached this ceiling of time and energy with the model that you've created. So what if your events could double or triple in size?
Yeah, my events definitely could do that. It would be a different kind of event, and the kind of event I have now would move into a higher price event with the smaller numbers. Because even people like from mentorship who've come have told me that this could be a high-end, you know, $997 weekend type thing. And you know, and I haven't wanted to do it because it's a very effective front door. But yeah, I mean, thank you. That's something I have to look at is what if I did have bigger groups where I could still demonstrate, you know, and offer people something of value, demonstrate my skills and what I have to offer them, but do it to more. So thank you. That's something it's kind of filtered around out here, but I've never given any real thought to it as a next step. I haven't needed, or it just hasn't been my next step, but maybe now it is. So that's great. Thank you.
Okay, good. So we've got 13 minutes here. We can either do one question. If people are going to have, I'd like to know how many people still have questions so we can budget our time appropriately here. Okay, so I've got Camille and Chris. Okay, is that one question or is that two questions? Okay, all right, let's go ahead and do you guys' questions.
Camille may have her own question.
She is that way.
She is that way. We'll give her that. So my question is around, I'm looking at the part of the webinar where it's the reframe our opportunity and including your story. I don't know why, but that doesn't feel like that's where story should go. So maybe you could explain what you mean by that, Don.
So when I talk about, so the reframe does not have to include your story. In fact,
Okay.
It doesn't actually include your story. The reframe is a step. The story is the next thing that happens in the agenda. Okay, so the reframe sits here. You can either put your story before the reframe or after the reframe. Sometimes it merges right into it because the reframe, your story contributes to your reframe. I think that's where the confusion has come in this.
Okay.
Okay, so personally, I see the ideal as you do a reframe and you tell your story that to put meat on the bones for your reframe. It fits with your reframe. So APM, so what if instead of 3% of the people completing your course, you got 70% of the people that complete your course? Let me tell you the story. Okay, that's her reframe. It is possible. I've done it. You just have to do things differently. And here's my story that illustrates that. And the story is her hero's journey. Okay.
I think that's very helpful.
And the real reframe, and I apologize because if Marisa listens to this, I got to make sure that this comes across. So the real reframe is in a world where billions of pieces of information go on the web every single year, the thing that's missing is the experience. That's what causes you to get 70% of the people finish the course instead of 3%. There's your reframe. Is the thing that gets people to complete your course is to experienceify it. Here's my story. Okay.
Excellent. Thank you. I appreciate that clarification.
Sure. Camille.
Now if we can just figure out the story. Right? I'm still having trouble trying to figure out which story that is going to connect the best with the audience. That's what happens when you're old, like me. You have stories. Anyway, that really wasn't my question for today, but honestly, that's really where I'm still struggling after all this time is with my story. So,
okay, you realize your story doesn't have to be your story either. It can be a client's story, which in your case is probably even more valuable because it demonstrates that you've got clients who have taken what you've taught them and used it to get their federal job of their dreams.
Well, that would be the easy thing to do because I have thousands and thousands of those.
Okay, so go find a tearjerker that will cause people that where you clearly added huge amounts of value and that becomes your story.
Well, we definitely have those then.
And it could be that your story isn't one story. It could be 5 stories.
Yep, that's very true. Okay, that's
very helpful too.
So
that's
yours
today.
so your story was, we saw this problem, we solved it this way, and let me tell you the story of John.
Okay.
And what happened to him.
I definitely get that. I mean, we just got off a couple of calls where I did share those kinds of stories, but I think it's because I'm so close to it, and I had somebody help me supposedly write my story. And, you know, the first question that he asked me was, well, he wanted to know 5 things that was unique about me. And it was hard. I had a hard time, you know, trying to figure out what's so unique that people don't want to know about me. It's really not that big of a deal. But he actually tapped into my lovely little nosedive plane crash accident. And he said, that's so unique. People want to know about that and then how you overcame that. But to me, that's more of a story that I could tell to entrepreneurs and not really job seekers. I have more things that are relatable to, like my boss that sabotaged me. If she wouldn't have sabotaged me, I would not be sitting here today, nor would Chris.
Right, but I'm not sure that's the story that makes people want to buy your product.
I know.
So your story has to be something that causes people to want to buy your product.
Okay, that's good.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
so my real question is, do we have to, when you have an upsell, should it always be an upsell and an increase in price? Could it be a lower price than the original?
Of course. It's an upsell.
Upsell.
Lots to be is more money.
Do you want fries with that?
True. I just am curious if there's the psychology behind it. Like if my program's $19.97 and then the next upsell's $4.97, but then the one after that is $97.
The key to an effective upsell is that it is something that is so logical that they feel like they absolutely have to have it.
Yeah.
But the price point of that has almost nothing to do with the upsell. So I have literally done 2,000, 497, 5,000. Okay, but I needed to put the 497 in between the 2,000 and the 5,000 to be able to make the 5,000 make sense. Okay.
Okay. Good, because that's kind of what I think we need to do, Chris.
Okay. All right. So I just put into chat the commitments that a month ago you made that you'd have done by today. I misspelled Camille's name. Sorry about that, Camille. But I'm just curious how you did.
People on the calendar. I did do that. I still have my mic open, so I'll say yes, I did do that.
Okay, very good. Anybody else want to report on their progress?
No bookings.
Go
ahead.
I'm still mobile, so I can't see the chat, but I did start. I'm not quite doing 5 a day, but I have started.
Okay. All right. Good. That's some progress.
Yes.
I'd like to see 5. Okay, Tammy?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm getting lots of conversations in. I haven't booked anybody yet, but I'm working up to it. I'm feeling good about the conversations I'm having.
Okay, good. I'd like to see 5 too. Okay, good. Who else?
Yes, I did mine. I also, because I haven't been feeling well, I postponed my events a few weeks. So I both did it, but my biggest accomplishment was actually taking care of myself.
Good. Don't die. Cool. Good. Anybody else?
I did not do mine. I may do a VIP day offer after Freedom Club closes, but I'm not I'm not interested in doing it right now.
Okay.
So change my mind.
Changed my mind. Okay. All right. So everyone, if you could write in the chat your commitment for the next 30 days. So Chris, can you put down your commitment? Okay. D, you want to just give yours verbally?
Yes, I'm going to keep my 5 goal of 5 a day.
Okay. Michelle, got yours. And Camille, I'll add that to your other one. Okay, good. Am I missing anybody? Natalie, we got yours? Yep, got yours. Tammy, yep. Michelle, Chris, Camille. Okay, good. Got everybody. Okay, very good. So everyone just need to ask a question. So what is our reward for achieving this by our next call? Spa day.
VIP session with Dawn.
Ah, that's good.
Let me just look at these. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to promise you that if we have every one of you gets this done, we'll do a separate hour coaching session, group coaching session, not private, but a group's coaching session. You guys
That's
willing to do that?
awesome. Yeah.
Okay, but that means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of you all have to keep this goal. Okay?
Does that mean that D has to do 5 chatterboxes?
Okay, let me
Revise.
Okay, now we're revising. Okay. Uh-huh.
Peer pressure, peer pressure.
I'm going to change my goal to, I had got some feedback from Marissa on my downline growth formula that there was too much in there. So, so I'm in the process of modifying it. So here's what I'm going to change it to. I'm going to have that modification done. Is that good, or is that like a weasel out of commitment?
What is it you're going to do again?
Well, Marissa gave some feedback that my downline growth formula, there was too much in there, and it probably should be more of a 10-week program as opposed to an 8-week program, and that I could potentially whittle it down a little bit, and just kind of pick out the things that people really need to accomplish the goal that I want them to accomplish.
Okay, so here's what I'd be willing to do. You're going to do a negotiation with you here, Dee.
Okay.
So downloading growth formula revised, and since the thing that you need most is to Chatterbox, I don't want to take that out of there. So
Okay.
what I'd suggest is Chatterbox 5 to 10 people a week.
Okay, I can do. Yeah, that sounds better.
Okay. All right. So I'm.
We should check in with each other every week. How are you doing on your goal?
Yeah, this is what I want here. So what I really want. So I just pasted in there what I have for each of you. Double check that I got it right. And the key part that I want to make sure we look at here is I want to make sure that the goal that you're doing is something that puts money in your pocket. Not that this is all about money, but ultimately it is, right? So is this a goal that will get you to money in your pocket? Okay. All right. So that's what we're gonna do. No one changed. No one said I got it wrong or anything else like that. We're gonna do that. We're gonna do this for a month, and we're coming back. Okay. I will enroll at least 5 more people into the Freedom Club. Ooh, we're gonna add that.
Nice, Natalie.
I'm just adding that on to my other one.
Okay. I like it.
Excellent.
Good.
Good.
That's the kind of change that I like because it puts money in pockets. Okay. All right. And by the way, we are missing Kat and we're missing Ken. Can you guys harass them relentlessly, please? Tell them they need to come to these calls. Okay. All right. Good.
And
Thank you
Gretchen,
all. What was that?
we're missing Gretchen too?
And Gretchen, but Gretchen is with her client. She's only available on Fridays. She's not able to walk away. So I'm very aware that she's not here, but I don't expect her to be here. So, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Take care. See you next time. And I'm looking forward to delivering on my part of that commitment. Okay.
Hey,
Take
Thanks,
care. All right.
thanks, Don.
Bye.
Bye.